So when I look down this lock chamber, I'm not seeing any actual important part of the lock's mechanisms here.
So we will insert the key, and then you turn the key off, and then you pull this handle out, and now you can see the keys.
I can see it sitting in there.
And then we'll move it over.
And you turn it.
We'll just turn it. It's geared down.
1.5 turns?
Yeah, I think it's that.
Okay.
And now the shackle is unlocked.
Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave with Riley from Works by Design. How are you, sir?
Really great to be here again. Yeah.
Dude, your last visit was so awesome. Everybody loved it. We got a ton of response from it. And then you put up a video a few weeks ago and you reached out to us and said, hey, have you guys seen the video? I had watched it 2 nights before.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, this is beautiful. Thank you. An amazing. May I open this?
Of course, yeah.
Oh. This is your second attempt.
Third, actually.
Third attempt at an unpickable lock.
Yep.
Okay, talk to me about the genesis of this, and give me a brief overview of the other 2 iterations.
So the first one was actually kind of the start to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's, I was heavily inspired by Stuff Made Here's YouTube, his own unpickable lock. And so that was the first iteration, and it was picked right away on camera. So not great there, but the second one I learned from the first one, of course, and it lasted a little longer. It was picked later eventually, but and then that course led to this one, and this one has been picked as well. So it's no longer unpickable, but it's been a really fun, experience and engineering challenge to get all the way through to this point. So
I must say your engineering prowess is absolutely delightful to watch on the channel, but it's not your training. Your training is in industrial design?
That's right, yeah. Product design, industrial design. So.
That would explain why I love the boxes that you make for the things as much as the things that you make. That's just in your bones.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, I suppose.
But for just to say, for someone who's not trained as an engineer to tackle a lock, strikes me as impressively ambitious.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. I think part of this is it's sort of a challenge that I can see through. Like it's something I can see mentally. Like it's that I could actually finish something and it could work. And I think the mechanical aspect of a project is really intriguing to me. So just making things all mechanically, so nothing electronical or anything like that. I can just visualize stuff working a little easier that way.
So it's a pleasure for you to kind of build these really complex things so that you can see them in your head.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the level of complexity in here is I've watched the video twice now, and it exhausts me in some ways, because you've got all sorts of. Well, let's talk about what you decided. What's different about this than your other 2 iterations?
Yeah, so the other 2 are sort of focused on trying to stop tensioning from happening. So in lock picking. Yeah. Have you picked locks?
I'm a terrible lock sport aficionado, but I have a large collection of lock.
All right, yeah. So you understand, like, you can put tools in and you can tension the core essentially, and by doing that you can kind of push up each pin one by one and unlock the lock. So
and this is exploiting the fact that manufacturing can never be truly perfect. And so there are slight manufacturing differences, and lockpicking usually is exploiting some of those in order to learn and be able to parse things about the lock enough to make it move how you want it.
Yeah, as far as I understand, people much smarter than me can go farther into depth than that.
I agree.
But so this one, the other 2 are kind of focused on stopping that aspect, and this one I decided to completely close off the door, so to speak, and so the keyway is normally open on locks, and for this one I had a mechanism inside that closes that keyway and then tests the key, and that essentially removes the ability to put a pick in there. It didn't remove the ability to do some other things, but
well, so the lock picker can never even see the pins of the lock he's picking. When I look down this lock chamber, I'm not seeing any actual important part of the lock's mechanisms here.
True. Yeah. There's nothing in there that it's just a blank, empty keyway.
Okay, so how does the lock eat half of the key? Walk me through
So this is the mechanism. So there's the key.
Oh, wow. This is your own invention of a keyway. Yes,
a little
your own
bit,
design.
Yeah, yep. Just at different angles, but.
And this is, according to the video, these are 2 magnets?
So one disc magnet.
One disc magnet.
But it's magnetic through the diameter.
Gotcha.
And
so right now it's magnetic.
Yep.
But if I move it here, it's no longer magnetic.
Very slightly, but
just less.
Just
okay.
less, yeah.
And then this part ends up inside the lock.
Yep.
Where it's moved to a location it can become useful.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, how long did you sit between iteration 2.0 and this before you realized you wanted to try something ambitious as letting half of your key disappear?
I think the lock stuff's always been sort of intriguing to me. More like probably the most exciting thing I've ever done on the channel. Okay, I'll just go.
Yeah.
It's all gonna fall over here. Oh, so these are just a few of the prototypes for this specific lock that I went through. And this is actually something new.
This is a key design?
Yeah, so the key itself, you can notice it's obviously not great to have a magnet in your pocket next to your phone.
Yeah.
And then this doesn't really solve any problems with the key falling off still.
Right.
So I was working on, sort of more of a switchblade style key. So it ideally would hide the key bitting. It doesn't hide the key bitting here, but
but it would. The idea is that it would.
Exactly. And then it still has to be, magnetic to release it inside the key.
Right.
So it's this way except for that. But this way you're kind of holding on to it and it's not going to fall out, at least when you're just hitting it like that. So
can we watch it? Can we operate the lock? Can we watch it go through a cycle?
So we will insert the key.
Can you only insert it one way?
Yeah, it is just one way. Okay. And then you turn the key off.
Okay, that's lessening the magnet so it can let go of it.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you pull this handle out, and now you can see the keys.
I can see it sitting in there.
And then we'll move it over to.
Oh, you move it over. Okay, so that's the turning gear.
This is the drive side, yeah.
And you turn it.
We'll just turn it. It's geared down.
1.5 turns.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Okay.
And now the shackle is unlocked.
That must have been very satisfying. The first time you did a proof of concept.
Oh yeah, it was really fun. I was like very excited that it worked.
So you've got a completely buried cylinder set in here.
Yep.
Can we take it apart and take a look?
Yeah, now's the best time to take it apart when it's unlocked there. So we're gonna take out the little pills.
Oh, you've made it very dismantleable.
Yeah. I left those plugs out. Normally on a lock, those plugs are filled.
Yeah.
And just to, not have another access point, but. So that's the main part of the lock. Oh no, it's
okay.
Yeah.
I was sure that I messed something up.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh, even down to like the lock thing of a little dovetail and a pressed in piece of brass.
I had to make it as lock-like as I could.
Oh my gosh.
So all of this now you can take apart. They're just like slots holding. A bunch of springs are going to fly out.
Okay,
so careful,
I don't want that to happen.
That's okay. But actually, we probably should have done it this way if that's okay. So all the pins and springs are falling out now. But,
oh my gosh, Riley.
But
you're so incredibly ambitious.
And you can see the different pins.
And that's your plastic pin.
There it is, yeah.
Now you put the plastic pin in, why?
So I don't think I've told this on screen before, but when you're turning this entire mechanism back, it actually kind of forces these pins up, and the tallest pin sort of gets jammed against the inside of the cylinder.
Oh, okay.
So sort of an issue, and I was trying to figure out a quick fix for that, and I figured this plastic pin was actually, a little less friction on that.
Oh, okay.
So that was actually the fix for that, and then it turned out it was also the idea to stop an impressioning attack.
Right.
So, without any brass on the other brass for impressioning,
it wouldn't give as much force as the impressioner would expect.
Yeah, which turned out, if you've seen the video, he was still able to impression the lock. But
so I'm really curious about looking at pieces like this and this.
Yeah.
You had a sponsor in this video. It was
PCB Way.
PCB Way. Yeah. And PCB Way not only makes PCBs for electronics, but now they're actually delivering fully machined parts to spec.
Yeah.
So I think that a question people might have is like, how was that translation between the 3D prints you were getting for mechanical problem solving? I'm assuming it can't be that you like get it working here, you order some parts in metal, and they all work. But tell me about the iterations back and forth about going from 3D printing to a delivered machined object.
So for this particular project, I 3D printed everything with a like 0.2 layer height and then or 0.2 nozzle, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I could get it as close to like as the CAD file as I could.
Yeah.
And so I ended up pretty lucky with this, where I ordered all these parts and they
worked on the first try?
I deburred like maybe 1 or 2 rims and then they worked on the first try.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the stuff PCB Way is sending you, were you doing anything to minimize complexity for them, or were you just going for what you wanted?
Oh yeah. So I used to work at a CNC milling factory.
I see. So you do have some institutional knowledge about the harder and easier things to do with CNC.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, as much as I like to think I'd know about machining, but a lot of this stuff I tried to make as machinable as possible. So there are some pieces like this part, which has some undercut geometry.
Oh, wow.
Which, you know, I assume they did with a key cutter tool, but I think there's part of it they might have done with a wire EDM.
Yeah. So, I would imagine wire EDM for something like that.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Ooh, that's really exciting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
You can design something in a 3D print and get a part and have it work.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Because my assumption, just given my expectation of the world, is that they'd all arrive and everything would just not work.
Oh yeah, yeah. It doesn't always work.
So you made how many? You made initially like 5 hero models of this, something like that.
Oh, like you talking about the bodies, or
the final blue ones that you feature in the video.
Yeah. So actually only 2. So
okay.
The 2 like blue versions of this are just blue anodized,
and they were sent out to other locksmiths to try and pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
And somebody succeeded.
They did, yeah.
And they succeeded with what you were afraid they would succeed with, which was an impressioning attack. Is that right?
Exactly.
Can you just? I was really impressed because I saw your lock and I was like, I don't think anyone can pick that. And then you also within the video talk to some people within the locksport community, and what kind of insights did they give you about your design?
Yeah, so I talked to Artichoke 2000, I believe, is one of the, and then Lock Noob is the guy that received one of the locks. But they gave some really great insight on, they pick locks for hobby or a living, and
they do it crazy fast.
Exactly. So one of the things they talked about was changing the pins. So a really easy fix for potential impressioning techniques is just the shape of the pin.
Oh wow! So okay. So instead of a needle point like that or a high point, you go with a softer point?
That, or like actually the shape of the body of the pin. So if you imagine these pins being more like torpedo shaped, or they kind of look more like torpedoes.
So do they then move as you're trying to do the impression?
I think I'm not quite sure how that works, but I'm assuming, it sort of pushes it out of the way when you're trying to impression it, and then you can't quite get a mark as easily. So I think that's the hope on.
You're gonna work with that. You're gonna try that.
I'm gonna try that, because if that works, if that stops impressioning, then this is basically thick proof.
Because Lock Noob was able to build a little piece of foil into his key blank, get that into the space where you actually had the pins, and slowly work it until they found their homes. Is that right?
Almost, yeah. That was one of the techniques he tried, but the foil didn't quite work. So I sent him some brass blanks of this key, and he just used those brass blanks, since brass is softer. And
so he was just watching the marks and doing a classic impressioning filing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was
I hadn't finished his video.
Oh, okay.
It was sort of out of I was going to talk to you, and it felt like weird to watch him defeat your lock. And so I was going to save that until after our interview.
Well, you can watch it now, but
So just to walk through for people, this is maybe the most laborious way, and yet it still totally works, which is stick a blank key into a lock, shake it around, and you get to learn about how those marks and what they mean. And between that and a file, you can slowly make a key.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It sounds like science fiction.
It does.
He was able to do it and get through your lock.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, as the proud papa of this, that it might not have been just totally disappointing when he defeated it, right?
No.
You sort of wanted to see that, you wanted it to be tested.
Yeah. I think it was, it's all been exciting. Like all the people that have been involved in sending this out to different locksmiths and lockpickers, I kind of hope that they defeat it, because it's sort of a really easy way to, now I know what is defeated, what part I need to work on for the next iteration. So
Locksport is the community that knows sort of deeper than anyone else that security through obscurity is no security at all.
Exactly.
They share every bit of information there is. Yeah. And just listening to the experts you talk to in the video was a great widening for me of the possibilities that a Locksport expert is really thinking through.
Yeah, I agree. It's like that. There's so much to it. Like there's a ton to that entire side of it. So.
Are you thinking of producing these as a product?
I'd like to.
Oh my God, I so want you to.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to be able to buy one.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm trying to get it to a point that's cheap enough to manufacture so that it's also cheap for someone to buy, but it's close, I think, but it needs some work.
Riley, it's a beautiful construction. It's such a marvelous idea. And wait, I also want to just tell you on camera, I love the storytelling in the video.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You're not just a marvelous engineer and a marvelous designer, but you also added in this whole narrative aspect of a character you built in CG. I'm not going to spoil it for the audience, that follows you through the video and sort of is a mascot that comments on your journey.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. He's just, I don't know if you've ever heard the term cardboarded design.
A lot of people I've known over the years love to use that term.
So,
and it's, to me, cardboard is the gateway drug to make
exactly. So I just thought I'd take that and kind of play with that exact expression and make a CAD program out of that. So
I loved how weird it was. We all have our YouTube channels. We're all in our own little bubbles here, working at our things. And the ways in which those in our community choose different ways to tell stories is one of my favorite things about this community.
Oh yeah, mine too.
I really love that storytelling for the video, man. It's just really thrilling.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Riley, please come back with the next iteration.
Okay.
And please come back anytime you have a new build. I'd love to cover it no matter what.
That sounds great, I will.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you so much for watching that video. If while watching any of my videos you like any of the t-shirts that you see me wearing, well, you can go buy them. And there's two places you can get them. First, you can go to tested-store.com, a web address that my crew laughs is one of the hardest things for me to remember in my whole brain. But now they've given me a second URL. You can now go to adamsavage.com and buy any of the t-shirts you see me wearing on this channel. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff there too. Thanks.